Rida. Rida means contentment and gratitude. That's the level where not only are you patient in the hardship, but you're actually content. You actually are saying, you're actually pleased with the decision of Allah. You're not just bracing yourself from complaining, but you're actually content and grateful. Now you might ask the question of how can I possibly be content and grateful when I'm going through a hardship? It just seems like a contradiction, right? Like how? How would I possibly be essentially happy or content when I'm going through this? To answer that question, I'm going to give you an analogy. You know, if you take a baby to get a shot, now that shot could have very, very important medicine. In fact, that baby might even have cancer, and the shot has the medication, has the medicine for the cancer. But how does the baby respond to the shot? By crying. How does the baby feel about the doctor? Angry. Angry. If you've ever seen a child getting a shot, they're not happy. And they're very angry. Why are they angry and why are they unhappy? Simple. Why? Exactly. Because they're in pain. Because that, all they see is, I am in pain. Right? So they look at this situation and all they see is a needle. All I see is a needle. That child has no concept of medicine. Right? That child has no concept of cure. You can't explain to the child, no, actually we're curing you. The child doesn't understand, doesn't have the capacity to understand it. Only thing the child understands is you just caused me pain. And you just struck me with a needle. And that's all the child understands. That is like a person who can't see beyond the fact that they didn't get what they wanted or that they're going through a hardship that's causing them pain. Some people's spiritual understanding is like that baby, is like that child. That when they go through some hardship in life, even if it's medicine, they don't see the medicine. They don't see how this hardship is actually curing them. Instead, they see, it's causing me pain, that's all I see, and I'm angry. So the person is responding, how could you do this to me? Just like the child is, how could the doctor do this to me? Doesn't understand beyond that. Some people are like that in their understanding of the hardships that they go through in life. They don't see the medicine. They don't see how it's good for them. Only thing they see is that they're in pain and that they didn't get what they wanted. Now, you can also now look at a 10-year-old. When a 10-year-old goes and you take that 10-year-old and you give them a shot. Now, with a 10-year-old, you could kind of explain it to them, right? You can tell them, I know this is going to hurt, but this is medicine. This is to help you, to cure you, to make you feel better. Now, when you give a 10-year-old a shot, they're not exactly doing cartwheels, and they're not exactly really happy with the doctor, but they're not screaming and shouting either. Make sense? So this can be likened to sabr, to patience, because they're not complaining, but inside, you know what, maybe they're not so happy. Make sense? This can be likened to patience. Why? Because they're keeping themselves from being angry, they're keeping themselves from complaining, but inside there's still agitation. There can still be agitation inside, but you're controlling yourself. That's patience. That's still sabr. And the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever struggles to have sabr, whoever struggles to be patient, Allah will give them patience. So our job is to struggle to be patient. And then Allah gives us patience. What is the reward of patience, by the way? So we already said that complaint is a sin and it's punishable. But what about patience? What's the reward of patience? Does anyone know? Believer. Whether it's pain, sadness, anxiety, depression, anything like that, even the prick of a thorn, except that it does what? It removes sins like leaves falling from a tree. So the reward of patience is actually that your sins are removed, that you're purified. لِيُمَحِّصَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Allah purifies the believers through hardship. but only when they respond properly. Make sense? So you respond with patience. The reward is that it actually purifies you of your sins. But now, let's go a step further, right? Now we are talking about another level. Now take an adult. Now the adult goes to the doctor and gets a shot. And this shot is cancer medication. What is the response of the adult to the doctor? The response of the adult, yes, party, that might be one thing. Or just, thank you, doctor, right? Like, that person, the adult, shakes the hand of the doctor and says thank you. That's a different type of response. Now, did the adult feel the prick of the needle? Yes. But the adult's focus is on the cure, not on the pain. It's on the fact that this is curing me, that this is strengthening me. And because of that focus, the adult is actually able to be grateful and content and even happy with the doctor. That's a different level. That's a higher level. And that's called rida. That's called contentment. A person can only have that type of response when they see the situation for what it is. Because the adult knows and understands fully that this is medicine, and because the focus of the adult is on the medicine, not on the needle, not on the pain, the adult can have that response. That response of contentment and actually being at peace with the decision of Allah, because it's curing me. And the focus is not on the pain, the focus is on the cure. Now the reward of that is not only that the person is purified of their sins, but that person is elevated in stations with Allah. That person is elevated in stations with Allah because of that response. So you're not only purified, but it's a higher level. You actually become higher with Allah.